I'm Jessica Goulding.
I'm Dara Chambers.
We are so excited to talk a little bit to each other and about the retreat we have coming up. It's called Emerge. It is March 1st. And at Emerge, we're going to do Chakra yoga and
Intuitive Collage.
so I'm super excited to hear about what Intuitive Collage is. Can you take us through?
I am super excited to tell you what Intuitive Collage is. So Intuitive Collage is kind of like making your own oracle card. That's the closest thing I can say. And I structure it in a way that it moves fast enough that you don't really have time to get into your conscious mind, because we are accessing the subconscious mind and spirit and being led and guided from that energy to choose whatever resonates with us. So you've probably heard about a vision board.
Yep.
Right? I think everybody
I love
knows about
those.
vision boards.
Yeah.
So kind of like that in the way that you do the collage, but you're not consciously thinking about what you want to bring in. It's just purely letting spirit and soul guide you. So whatever resonates. And I keep it moving pretty fast so that you can't get into your thinking brain too much.
Yeah.
And then we add color, and the color choices that you make intuitively can give a lot of information about what might be going on under the surface. And then we talk about what came up and what came through. So the actual act of making the collage in itself is very meditative and relaxing, and everybody kind of gets into their zone, right?
Yeah.
And then afterwards, it is just amazing what can be revealed through the images that you choose and how you choose to arrange them and the colors that you choose from intuition.
So it's like you get to take what's going on in your spirit and make it visible and see it.
Exactly.
And then you get to have it and reflect on it, and it tells you
Exactly.
something.
Exactly.
That is so cool.
And then I usually like to have a time where people can kind of journal about the experience afterwards. And I've had a lot of people in the past say that they hung it up in their house as a reminder and as kind of an anchor point.
Wow.
It's really not about creating a beautiful piece
I
of
was gonna
art
say,
to
like,
hang on the wall.
When we were talking about this and I was, confessing, like, I can't paint, I can't draw.
Okay.
And you were like, that doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
But people come away with something that they really want to keep looking at.
Sometimes usually,
yes, yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say everybody.
Right.
That's obviously not the goal. But most people I have worked with have said that they end up hanging it up or referencing back to it often.
Wow. Can you take us through a little bit of the process?
Sure. So we start obviously with a grounding and centering meditation to just kind of get into the right mindset. And then there is about 10 to 15 minutes. Again, I keep it pretty quick, but that's intentional so that you don't get too much into your human brain, your thinking brain. We want to stay in spirit as much as possible. So I give you about 10 or 15 minutes to just go through magazines and pull anything at all that resonates. Don't question it. Don't ask why it resonates. Could be anything. And so you end up with kind of a stack of images to choose from. And then I give you a couple of minutes to go through and kind of self-edit. And I walk you through that process. And then we arrange everything on the paper. We do work small because when you have to edit down, you really edit down to what resonates the most deeply.
Wow.
Rather than if you have a giant poster board.
Yeah.
So we do work small for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then once everything is arranged, then we go in and edit down even further, and that's where the color comes in. And I walk you through a process of how to use color and paint to enhance or focus on things inside of your collage.
Do you see the colors and things that people choose relating to what's going on with their energetic cells, with their chakras and things?
Oftentimes.
Is it?
It is the color choices tend to be very relevant to their chakra system.
I mean, this is why, like, when you and I got together, so we met on Facebook, but we live like 5 minutes apart, turns out. So it's like the numbers of serendipities that we keep having.
It's crazy.
It's wild. So when I invited Dara to come on and do this, it was like, I mean, the
It was
The connection,
instant.
yeah.
I mean, it was just instant. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm signed. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm in.
That's right. I know. We talked for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, so do you want to do this? And she's like, yes.
Yes.
And no questions. Just
No
like,
idea
yes,
what
let's
it's going
do
to look
this.
like yet.
Let's
but
do this. Yeah. So, I mean, we're picturing that this goes like we'll do yoga in the morning because it does so much of the same things that you were
Yes.
just talking about. Like it gets you out of your thinking mind. It gets you more into your breath, your energetic body. You know, in chakra language, you're talking a lot about, well, the intuition is
Yes.
ajna,
Yes.
right? So it's chakra 6, but still the morning practice, I think, is going to be a lot about chakra 1 and 2 and kind of getting the creativity flowing,
Yes.
getting things moving, and a rising current of energy
Yes.
so that we can
Well,
come up to the intuition.
And that creative energy that we tap into is a direct link to source. I mean, it gets you into that part of your mind, gets you out of the human brain and into the source, energetic soul mind that is one with everything.
It's your,
And
your
that's,
connection.
it's a direct, that creative expression and getting into that moment. It's like a walking meditation.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Right before we went on, you told me a little story. Will you tell everyone about
What story did I
just
tell you?
getting back online, like
Oh!
going from feeling like you weren't, there was nothing that you wanted to do,
Yeah.
or feeling blocked, and what
Well,
happened?
I was really in, when I reflected on it, I was in that like winter solstice energy of just,
That's so
I
important,
just
though.
wanted to, and I tried to honor that.
Yeah.
But you know, when you have these big ideas and these things that you're working on, trying to honor that rest and that solstice energy where you need to just go in and rest and be quiet is really hard to do because we in our modern day life don't usually take that time. So I tried to be kind to myself, but I was should-having on myself a lot
Well, this
at the
will
same
happen.
time.
Yep.
Like it was this
I
dichotomy.
should be getting something done. I should be
Yeah.
making something.
Yeah,
I should,
yeah,
da, da, da. And meanwhile, the whole world's like, sit down,
Right.
relax.
And like I'm working on launching my Soulfully Creative group,
Yes.
and it's a lot of work to start a whole new thing and a whole new group, and so it can feel overwhelming. And I was just like, I just can't do anything. Everything felt too big and too overwhelming, and so I was just not in the energy. And so I was like, okay, when I get like that, that's when I'm like, okay, I've got to just start painting, because that's the fastest way I know to get back into my alignment. And so I took a minute and just literally said out loud, okay, Spirit, I'm ready. Like I'm ready to open up again and start working.
You just,
And I started painting, and I did my painting, and I felt really good and re-energized, and I got up and I went about my day, and like that was it. Less than 2 hours later, I got a message from a friend that I haven't heard from in years and years and years. He's like, are you still teaching art classes? I just got this nudge to start opening up to my creativity more, and you immediately popped into my head. So I'm like, well, if that's not just divine inspiration, I don't know what is.
yeah, it's just such encouragement. and it
Immediate
just-
confirmation.
Yeah.
And then about an hour later is when you called and brought up the retreat and got me all excited. So I was just like, okay, we're ready, let's go.
Let's do this.
And I've been super energized, and I'm getting my group going, and
Yes.
I'm like ready to go.
I know. I'm so excited to hear about your school and that's all going. And I'd love to hear a little bit about what painting has been to you in your life, because I think it's been through like
It's
some
been
ups
through
and
several
downs and
iterations. For sure.
Yeah.
So I am classically trained. My undergraduate degree is in fine art with a focus in painting. And I mean, I think I've always considered myself an artist from a very early age. But it came with a very heavy critic.
Your own.
My own.
Yeah.
Yeah, very heavy critic. And I was constantly comparing myself to other people around me in any program that I was in, art shows. I was in a couple of, I had my work displayed in different places and was trying to work with galleries and doing art shows. And I did that whole art circuit for several years, and it was exhausting. It was exhausting. It did not feed me. It was
Just
exhausting.
took the joy out of
It just took
a
the
joyful
joy out
thing.
of everything.
Yeah.
And so I stopped for a long time. I stopped painting. And then, you know, I had kids and babies and all that. And so I would always find creative outlets because it's who I am, but the actual painting I didn't do very often. And then I just kind of started losing myself and getting out of touch with myself and what was always important to me and my spirituality, which has always been an important part of my life. And so I decided to start painting again, but I knew that it had to be easy and accessible if I was going to stick with it. So I was like, okay, watercolor is the obvious choice because it's very easy to clean up.
Yeah.
I could just leave it out. It's cheap.
Yep.
So there's no pressure, there's no stress if I mess up. It's not like I messed up a $60 canvas, you know, or used a lot of expensive material. And then the next level was like, okay, 15 minutes. 15 minutes was the time that I came up with that felt accessible. Like you can do anything for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I love that number.
So like 15 minutes, I can do anything, even if it's just literally sitting down and pushing paint across the paper with no intention of anything.
It's just like doing it in order
Just
to do
do
it.
it to do it. I just had to get
That's
back
how you
on
got
the
over the
horse.
hump. Yeah.
Yes.
I get that.
And so that's what I did. I started, like, no matter what, whether I wanted to or not, I committed to showing up for 15 minutes a day. And I set up a little area in my office that I could just leave everything out and shut the door. Like I didn't have to clean anything up.
Yeah.
I could just walk away.
This is something you talk about on your website too, is
Yes.
like setting up a sacred space.
Yes. And
we talk about that in yoga. It's so similar. You want a meditation
really
cushion?
is.
You want a certain place?
And it doesn't have to be a big deal.
No.
It doesn't have to be a whole room in your house.
No, it's just
If
a
you
sweet
don't
little-
have a space even, if you just have all of your supplies or a special candle and a notebook, it could be that simple,
Yeah.
right?
I
Like,
totally believe in making just a little
we have to
space
find
that
the
changes
entry
it.
point.
Mhm.
And whatever that entry point is for you, that's where you need to start.
Perfect.
It can always
Yeah.
evolve into something else later.
Yeah.
Right?
I think we can get real heady about that, but just
And it
with
holds
so
us
many things,
back.
just start. Yeah, just start.
Yes.
Just start.
And so I started, and you know, the first few days, that inner critic was real loud and nasty. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's okay. I'm gonna just keep doing it. And before long, I really like started to look forward to it. And I realized that, you know, my 15 minutes would easily turn into 45 minutes or an hour, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't even realize it, like what they tell you in meditation. And I say what they tell you because I very rarely have been able to get that deep into meditation.
Yeah.
Just
But
by
what you're
sitting.
doing is a meditation. That's just
It is a meditation.
it's so important for people to find their thing.
Yes.
You know, like it's
So
gonna
for
be
me,
different.
it was like the back door to that meditative space.
Yep.
Because I didn't have to sit there and try not to think.
Mhm.
I just, by doing the painting, and watercolor has such a flow and the colors mix and it's just mesmerizing to watch. So it's almost effortless to just get into that flow
Yeah.
state, you
Yeah.
know, that meditative flow state. And then I started feeling like I wanted to write afterwards. And oh no, sorry. The first time it happened, I painted, I did my painting, and I went upstairs, and I just noticed I was just feeling better in general in my life, right? Like I was just feeling more relaxed and feeling better. And then there was something, I don't even remember what it was, to tell you the truth, but there was something I was struggling with. And I painted, I felt better, like a little bit of a release, went upstairs and took a shower, did my thing to get ready for the day. And it was like this flash of insight, like this download
Wow.
of like, here's the answer. And I
'Cause you had
ran
opened
up
up.
because I had
Yes.
opened the channel.
Yep.
I ran downstairs, I turned that painting over, and I just furiously started writing. And I'll tell you what came out. I mean, if I had intentionally, consciously tried to write that, I would not have been able
Yeah.
to. I mean, it was just a download.
It changes your state. That's what we talk about in
Totally.
yoga therapy. You just you change your state, things become possible. You're open up to more things, and then like you can really trust. In my opinion, you can then
Yes.
really trust
Yes.
what comes through.
Yes.
Very much.
Because it's a shift. It's not from here, it's from here.
Wow.
And that shift is everything. And so then it just got addictive.
Yeah.
So now it's like
And now you share. Yeah.
anytime I'm going through anything, I don't paint every single day anymore.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes I do if I'm feeling like I've started painting every day again now because I've been in the slump.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, okay, I got to come back out. And then it'll probably taper off and then I'll come back. But oftentimes if I don't feel like doing anything or I'm just like, oh, I don't know what to do next and I don't blah, blah, blah. Like,
Yep.
you know, you need to show up, but you don't really feel like it.
Yep.
15 minutes of painting and then suddenly I'm like energized and clear and ready to go.
So painting is your version of my sun salutations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just shift your mind and then go for it.
Just-
I'm so glad you're gonna walk us through this, that we actually get to make our own cards and we get
Yes.
to, because I'm gonna play. Like, I'm not just
Oh,
gonna,
you
I'm
better.
totally playing.
You
I'm
better.
totally playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just so fun, like, because you don't know what's going to come out. And oftentimes people have said that, you know, I thought I kind of knew where this was going. And then you see it come together and you see the colors that you choose. And it's like, oh, wait, that's not at all what I thought it was going to be, but it's totally what I need. You know, there's just, your soul has a message for you. And this intuitive collage can be a backdoor to get that message.
That's what it, I mean, we can end with that. Your soul has a message for you.
Your soul has a
And it
message
comes
for
through
you.
it. That's so beautiful.